Lesson 57, Negative Exponents, Scientific Notation for Small Numbers. Okay, any number raised to the 0 power equals, does anybody know? Like if I raise 2 to the 0 power, do you know what that equals? 1, okay. 17 to the 0 power is 1. 1,000,000 to the 0 power equals 1. Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So Sally raised to the 0 power is what? Yes, Sally raised to the 0 power.
What's to the first power?
Uh-huh. So if here, we're going to do some bigger than 1 and then we'll get to 1. So 3 cubed, that means 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. 3 squared, 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 to the first power is just 3. So if you raise something to the first power, it just equals that number. If you just see the number with no exponent on it, the exponent is 1. It's implied. We don't have to write that 1 there. 3 to the 0 power is, anybody? Everybody? 1. Now I want you to notice, what are we doing? What's the pattern here going down? We're dividing by 3,
Yeah.
right? 27 divided by 3 is 9, divided by 3 is 3, divided by 3 is 1. So if I keep going on to my exponents, the next integer, 3 to the negative 1, no, we're dividing by 3. What's 1 divided by 3, which is what? 1/3. 1/3. We just divide 1 by 3. We follow the same pattern. So 3 to the negative 2, can you imagine what that might be? No, quit saying negative.
Is it 1/6?
Not 1/6.
0.
We want to divide this by 3.
1/9.
1/9.
Yeah. And then 1/27.
3 to the negative 3 equals what?
1/27.
1/27. So the negative exponent, did it change the sign on the number, on the answer?
Wait, so these never get to 0?
They never get to 0 or negative numbers. They don't, unless it begins, yeah, unless it is 0. So if you have a to the 0, that equals, what does it equal? A to the 0 power is 1.
What about 0 to 0 power? Yes,
1. Actually, it's indeterminate, but we're not going to go into that. Okay, a to the negative power of n, that equals 1 over a to the nth power. So for instance, when I had 3 to the negative 3, it was equal to 1 over 3 cubed, or 3 to the third, to the positive 3. Okay? And we can do the other way. If you have 1 over a to the negative n, it just equals a to the n. So we're going to, if you see a negative exponent, you think of a fraction and move it to the other spot and make it a positive exponent. So here, what we're going to think. We're going to do some examples here. 4 to the negative 2. Okay, so we want to write this using fractions.
1/16.
So if you think of it as a fraction, we move the 4 to the denominator and change the exponent to a positive 2. And then what goes up here is just a 1. So it is 1 over 16, or 1 over 4 squared, which is 1/16. Another example, if we had 2 to the negative 3, that is 1 over 2 to the 3rd, which is 1/8. Okay?
Wait, so if it's a 2 instead of a 3, you would divide by 2 every time.
That's right. Yep. So 2 to the negative 4 would be 1/16. 1/32. Yep. Not 20th, because 2 to the 4th is 16, so it'll be 1/16. 2 to the 5th is 32, so it'll be 1 over 32. Okay. Now we have decimal numbers. So if you notice, this is 1/10. 1/10 is, do you remember, that is 10 to the negative 1. So in scientific notation, we can have 1.0 times 10 to the negative 1. And that equals 1/10, or 0.1. So this is standard form, that's scientific notation.
Okay.
Now if I had 0.01, that's 1/100th, or 10 to the negative
Or 1.
2,
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
right? Okay, and that in scientific notation is 1 times 10 to the negative 2. So notice if you're given scientific notation, this is a small number, you would take the decimal and move it to the left 2 times. So we started here, or let's say we started at the 1, we want to get there, so our decimal point went 2 to the left.
Wait, since it go up and then it says 3 to the 3rd power up clear at the top,
Okay,
isn't 3 to the 3rd power 9 times
3. It's 3 times 3 times 3. Okay. So there's one thing that we want to remember, that you must have exactly, no more, no less, 1 non-zero. So I added this word in to our notes. Digit in front of a decimal, or the decimal, in scientific notation. So when you are asked to write something in scientific notation, you have to have exactly 1 non-zero digit to the left of the decimal point. Now, some kids in this course 2 class are mixing up expanded notation, scientific notation, and standard notation. Expanded is the one with the parentheses and the plus signs between them. Scientific notation always looks like this: non-zero number, a decimal point, maybe some numbers after it, times 10 to a power. That's scientific. Standard is when you just write a number just normally, the standard way. Okay.
like just
That's the end of the lesson.